Do you have to deal with high conflict people that make you feel reactive? You know those people who rub you the wrong way, they say things that they know will trigger you and make you angry, or they just like to nitpick at every little thing. By the end of this video, you're going to have 6 strategies to help you keep your cool and to respond effectively and confidently when dealing with difficult people, and most importantly, to build your emotional resilience. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I've been a leader in the medtech corporate space for the past 20 plus years, and I serve as a high conflict expert, coach, and consultant for high achievers, visionary entrepreneurs, and leaders like you who are in high stakes environments. So I help ambitious professionals and businesses turn conflict into competitive advantage, master high stakes leadership, and drive sustainable success through systems-driven discipline. So have you ever had someone that pushes your button so hard that you feel like your brain is just like short-circuiting, right? Whether it's a demanding boss, a passive-aggressive colleague, or that one friend who somehow analyzes every little thing and finds a way to rain on your parade. Dealing with difficult people is inevitable, regardless if they're your family, your friends, your colleagues. There's always someone difficult. But here's the game changer here. Mastering that emotional resilience. It's so important so that you respond instead of reacting. So we've all been there. I've been there too. I've had to do a lot of work because I felt like I was a really reactive person, and I needed to find ways that I can be calm, cool, and collective, and I can just respond instead of letting it get the best of me. So this is where you're going to want to control the controllable, right? You can't control what another person says, what they do, but we can control, you can control how you respond. And based on how you respond, it can make the difference of having a conversation that's productive or having a conversation that escalates into something more. And we don't want that, regardless of the situation, right? So why does this all matter? Did you know that 90% of top performers, they score high on emotional intelligence? And yet, research shows that 60% of people let emotions dictate their decision-making in these very stressful situations. So what's the secret sauce here? It's learning to regulate those knee-jerk reactions. And studies also indicate that people who develop emotional resilience, they report 30% lower stress levels and are 40% more likely to be seen as strong leaders in their organization. And that comes from Forbes. So there's a ton of science behind staying cool, calm, and collected, believe it or not. And when triggered, your amygdala, your brain's alarm system, it hijacks your rational thinking. I think we've all been there when something happens and you just feel like you're triggered, you're snapping out. You almost can feel that in your brain, right? This is why you might just fire off that regrettable email, or you snap at someone just before realizing, Jen, take a pause, take a breather, right? I've been there. I've been there too many times. But the key that I found is engaging in the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that helps with reasoning and impulse control. So neuroscientists, they found that practicing self-awareness and emotional regulation, it can almost rewire your brain. It makes you more adaptable to managing these stressful situations that we always have. So the more that we can train our brain to manage it, the more cool that we will be and the more calm and collective that we will be. So in fact, MRI studies show that individuals who practice mindfulness and that cognitive reframing on a regular basis, they have increased gray matter in their prefrontal cortex. So I'll take all the gray matter I can get. What this means to you is that you'll have better decision making under pressure. So let's look at 6 strategies that you can use to build emotional resilience starting today. So don't wait till tomorrow. Let's get it on today. And the first one is pause before you pounce. I think this is the hardest one, is to be in control and actually step back and say, I need to just pause. You don't need to say that out loud, but you need to say it to yourself so that you take a minute or two to think before you react. So when faced with conflict, stop and take a deep breath. Even 6-second pauses can prevent an emotional hijack. And that comes from the Harvard Business Review. So you might even want to try something like counting to 10 before responding further. And that can help you shift your brain into more of a rational and not reactive state, which is where we want to be, right? A second tip is, let's name the emotion. So when you're communicating, reframe the way that you express yourself. It's not that you're hiding from what you really want to say. It's about choosing words that make you sound smart, sound less reactive, and sound less defensive. Instead of saying, I am so mad, and bringing all of that emotion to the table, try, I feel frustrated because of this. What that does is it shifts you from a reaction mode to a problem-solving mode, which is what we want to do. We want to help solve the problem, right? And studies show that labeling your emotions, it reduces their intensity by up to 35%. And that comes from a study by UCLA Mindfulness Research Center. So let's reframe. Let's reframe how we talk to ourselves, how we deal with the situations. Instead of reacting, let's look at how can we frame this in a way that we can actually deal with it. And a third area is reframe the narrative completely. So instead of thinking, they're out to get me, this is all the negative talk that goes on in our heads, right? I've been there. I fight it each and every day because sometimes you're thinking, wow, this person's after me. And maybe they're just having a bad day. So let's kind of reframe the narrative and take that pause to really think about, is this, somebody that's, always in my face about something, or is it somebody that I don't really know that way well that's just having, a situation with me? So it depends on the situation, right? Sometimes we have these difficult, narcissistic, or confrontational people in our lives, and we know who they are, and they're just flat out difficult. But sometimes it may be someone that you don't know as well, or someone that's, normally isn't difficult on the regular. It's this situation that people push your buttons, but their confrontational nature may have nothing to do with you at all. There may be something going on in their lives that's making them miserable, and you happen to be just the victim of their pain at that point in time. I know that's happened to me a lot of times, especially in my corporate role. There's things going on in people's lives at home with their children, maybe with their boss that they report to, and they're just feeling it. So you're kind of a victim of their pain, even though it has nothing to do with you. Perspective is everything. So by reframing the story, you not only change your response, but you reduce your cortisol levels in your body, and you're preventing that stress overload. So the next time you're around someone that normally isn't difficult, or you don't know that well, let's start to think, maybe there's something else to this puzzle, and maybe it has nothing to do with me. And tell yourself that. Even if it's not true, maybe it has something to do with you, but tell yourself that. You'll feel a lot better. And number 4, we want to master the art of the calm comeback. So we don't want to be reactive. We want to look like we are really rocking it. We're in charge and in control of ourselves. A simple response of, that's an interesting perspective, it can buy you some time instead of reacting. If necessary, disengage and return to the conversation later with a more level head. Make an excuse that you have to go right now, you have a meeting or something, and really step back and think about what you want to say. and ask that person to come back to the conversation later. You can take the approach of saying, you'd like to think about something further or think about the situation further. This buys you some time to think through how would you like to respond. And also it helps you to get the emotions out of the way, because that's a lot of our problem when we're reactive. It's that emotion that comes out. And sometimes it's very much justified, but whether it's justified or not, we don't want to bring it because it makes us look weak. Number 5, you're going to want to train your brain. Mindfulness has been shown to reduce emotional reactivity by 50% in an NIH study. This is crazy, right? Half of the time you could be reducing that reactivity. A few minutes of meditation daily, it could work wonders for you. Or maybe you want to try something like journaling, your emotional triggers, and just really think about what is it that's triggering you so you can better understand your patterns, and you can, more importantly, reframe them for future encounters so that you're aware of what are those things that really trigger me, and you'll know and you'll have it in every situation. And number 6, let's practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when you slip up. Emotional resilience isn't about perfection, but progress. I don't believe in perfection. Throw it out the door because it's not real. We're human beings. Everything is a journey, regardless of what you're doing, and we're not always perfect. Maybe we didn't get enough sleep the night before. Maybe there's something going on in our own personal lives that's triggering us. We're not perfect. Life isn't perfect. So no matter how good you get at practicing all of these steps and keeping your cool, there are times when we fail. And studies show that those who practice self-compassion, they recover from setbacks 60% faster than those who don't. And that comes from Stanford University. So here's your challenge for the week. Next time someone irritates you, no matter who they are, try the 6-second rule before responding. Take 6 seconds, count to 6 or count to 10. Take a deep breath before you say anything. I promise it will help you. And observe how it shifts your outcome and how it makes you feel. Take a step to further this by journaling about the experience and noting how your body and your emotions responded. And then keep a journal of all of this. Take a look back. See how you're progressing. See if there's, things that you can change or tweak in your approach. This is a journey like everything else. But let me know in the comments how it goes. I'm here to cheer you on all the way. So growth happens outside of your comfort zone. So get uncomfortable with these things because they are uncomfortable anyway, so you might as well do a great job at it, right? But the question is, are you ready to embrace it? So if you're looking to up your discipline game, download my free book, Discipline Made Simple, 5 Proven Ways to Transform Your Life in the Next 30 Days. I'll link it in the comments in the description below. But if you found this content valuable, please consider sharing, please consider subscribing. Thank you for joining me here today, and we'll see you all next time.